So the screen is visible to everyone. So slides are visible to everyone.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
About the peripheral devices, then input output interfaces, then asynchronous data. So we were discussing about the asynchronous data in the last slide, where we studied the two methods. One is the stroke control method, another is the handshaking method. So this is the asynchronous data transfer we discussed. The two methods for the asynchronous data transfer method we discussed. One is known as the stroke pulse method, and another is known as the handshaking method. So first of all, whenever we study the stroke control method, we said the two situations may be occur. That is the transmission, whatever we want to do. That may be the source initiated stop transmission. And the another transmission, whatever we want to do, that may be the destination initiated stop transmission. So whenever the source initiated stop transmission, we are saying a source will send the stop control to the destination unit. And whenever the stop control is going to be sent onto the destination unit, the data bus will send the data, and it will be occur whenever the valid bit is there. And in the second case, the destination demands that we have a requirement of the input or data. Then in that situation, destination will send the stop to the source unit, and source unit whenever receive the strobe, automatically the data bit will become valid, and the data will be transmitted from source to the destination, and this is basically known as the strobe control. So the problem with the strobe control is that there is no acknowledgement generated by the destination unit. So it is not the confirm that the message has been delivered successfully or not. So the handshaking method came in the existence. So the handshaking method came in the existence, and in the handshaking method, the acknowledgement is going to be generated always. So again, the source initiated transfer using handshake were there, and in that situations we said that source will send the source will whenever find out the data valid is there, then in that situations data bus will send the data from the source unit to the destination unit, and whenever the data will be received by the destination unit, the acknowledgement will get generated, and this acknowledgement will be received by the source unit, and it will become confirmed that the data has been received by the destination unit. So acknowledgement also has been added with the stop unit, and finally it become handshaking unit. So it allows arbitrary delays from one state to the next state. It permits each unit to respond at its own data transfer rate, and the rate of transfer is determined by slower unit. So this is the source initiated data transfer, and another we discussed, that is the destination initiated data transfer is there. First of all, the ready for data, the source unit will receive, and then after that, whenever the bit is valid, data will be transmitted via the data bus to the destination unit. So handshaking provides a high degree of flexibility and reliability because the successful completion of a data transfer relies on active participation by both units. If one unit is faulty, data transfer will not be completed, can be detected by means of timeout mechanism.
Sir,
So in that, huh,
sir, what does arrows representing in timing diagram?
this timing diagram is there, na?
Yes, sir,
So
sir. Sir, what does arrow representing?
this this arrow की बात कर रहे हैं ना, this one ना?
Yes, sir.
So basically, we want to say that ready for data, क्योंकि destination initiated data transfer is there. So we are saying कि destination is this, source is this, the source and destination is connected to each other. ठीक, whenever the bit become valid, जैसे ही आपका bit become valid होता है, automatically first of all destination start the acknowledgement that please send the data to the source unit. So this is basically showing the interconnection between the data bus as well as whatever the acknowledgement is going to be started from the destination unit. Okay.
Sir, yes.
So now asynchronous serial transfer. So 4 different type of transfer is going to be occur whenever we talk about the asynchronous serial transfer. So we are saying the 4 type of transfer inside the system is, that is the asynchronous serial transfer, second synchronous serial transfer, third asynchronous parallel transfer, fourth synchronous parallel transfer. So we are saying that whenever we want to apply the transfer within the system, the 4 type of transfer is going to be occur within the system: asynchronous serial transfer, asynchronous parallel transfer, synchronous serial transfer, and synchronous parallel transfer. First of all, the synchronous asynchronous serial transfer. So whenever we talk about the asynchronous serial transfer, it employs special bits which are inserted at both ends of the character code. Each character consists of 3 parts. First is the start bit is there, second data bits are there, third stop bit is there. So whenever the asynchronous serial transfer is going on there, whatever the data you have, you will add the 2 bit, 1 bit at the start of the message or the start of the data, and another bit at the stop of the data or last of the data. So we are saying here employs a special bit which are inserted at both ends of the character code. So whatever the data you have, we will insert the 2 different bit. 1 bit will be inserted at the start position and 1 bit will be inserted at the last position. So each character consists of 3 parts: start bit, data bit, and stop bit is there. Now, a character can be detected by the receiver from knowledge of 4 rules. So rules are: when data are not being sent, the line is kept in the one state, that is basically known as the ideal state. So first of all, we are saying whenever no data is going to be transmitted from the source to destination end, it means it is the state. This is known as the ideal state of the data. The initiation of a character transmission is detected by a start bit, which is always a 0. So we are saying whenever the start bit is always initial 0 is there, and whenever the transmission is going to be detected, then this is basically it is going to be, it always start from the start bit, and start bit is always initially is 0. The character bits always follow the start bit, and whatever the start bit is there, whatever the data is there, since the data is going to be start via the start bit, so we are saying data always follow the start bit. So the character bits always follow the start bit is there. After the last character or stop bit is detected when the line returns to the one state or ideal state for at least 1 bit time. So we are saying here the last bit of the data contains the stop bit and it detected, and whenever it is going to be detected, the data again go in the ideal state is there. So there is no transmission whenever all the data has been going to be transmitted from the source unit to the destination unit. The receiver knows in advance the transfer rate of the bits and the number of information bits to be expect. And we are saying okay, whenever we talk about the receiver very well know that what is the transfer rate of bits are there and what are the number of information bits to be expected, means to say how many bits will be come onto the receiver end. This is going to be detected by the receiver or destination end, and this is basically known as the asynchronous serial transfer. So a typical asynchronous communication interface available as an integrated chip. So whenever we talk about the integrated chip and we want to perform the asynchronous communication interface, then such type of block diagram you can study at there. So we are saying the bus buffer is there where the input and output line is going to be associated, and that lines are always the bidirectional lines are there. Then since we very well know that all the registers are basically associated with the lot of buses, such as three type of buses are available there. One is the control bus, data bus as well, address bus is there, and some of the registers contains the data through the internal buses. The data can be present in the transmitter register, control register, status register, or receiver register. These transmitter register is also associated with the shift register, and finally the data is going to be transmitted. The control register, that is basically associated with the transmitter control and clock, and transmitter clock enable, then in that situations control register get activated and sends the data from the transmitter register to the shift register, and bus at there. The status register is there that basically identify the receiver control and clock cycle, where we get the receiver clock, and whenever the receiver clock enable the status register, then in that situations the data is going to be transmitting from the transmitter register to the shift register, then onto the bus, and finally the receiver register is there. The receiver receives the data, and this is basically the typical asynchronous communication interface available onto the integrated chip at there. We already told you, whenever we talk about the register, the total number of registers available in each and every system is equivalent to 65,536. So definitely this structure has been given for the integrated chip, but only the 4 register has been shown up here. But we know that we have a lot more register within the system, so the structure is always the complex one as it is showing onto the screen. The transmitter register accepts a data byte from central processing unit through the data bus, transferred to a shift register for serial transmission. Receiver receives serial information into another shift register. Complete data byte is sent to the receiver register. The status register bits used for input-output flags and for recording errors. The control register bits are there. They are basically used for defining the baud rate, that is the number of bits in each character, and number of stop bits are there. So we have to understand it is basically the asynchronous communication interface which is available with the integrated circuit. So we have to understand in deep that the role of the transmitter register, the role of the receiver, role of the status register bits, and role of the control register bits. So again I am repeating the role of the transmitter register. It is basically accepts a data byte from the central processing unit through the data bus. Again, it transferred to a shift register for serial transmission. Whenever we talk about the receiver, it receives serial information into another shift register, and complete data byte is sent to the receiver register. The status register bits, it is used for input-output flags and for recording errors. And whenever we talk about the control register bits, it defines baud rate, number of bits in each character, and number of stop bits. So you can design this question comes in your examination sometimes. So you can design this onto your answer booklet, or you can design your own notebook. So first in, first out buffer. Basically we are talking here that linear buffer or first in, first out buffer is here. So input data and output data at 2 different rates. We are saying here, whenever we pass the input within the system and whenever we get the output from the system, we are saying the data rate to pass the input and the data rate to get the output may be differ. Both the rate can be differ to each other. So input data and output data at two different rates. Output data are always in the same order in which the data entered to the buffer is there. So buffer means it is the memory, it is the linear memory where we can pass some of the input and we can get some of the output, or we can say the same input we are getting and same output we are again receiving at the receiver end, but we are seeing here that the input rate is something different and output rate is something different. So it is useful in some applications when data transferred asynchronously. We are saying whenever we use asynchronous data transmission, then it is useful in some applications when data transferred is asynchronously is there. So 4x4, the first in first out buffer or a 4-bit register has been presented here. So 4 control registers are there that is associated with the flip-flops, associated with each with a register. So first in first out buffer has been designed that SR flip-flop is there and AND gate is there, and it is associated with the register is there. So one SR flip-flop is there. So whatever the input we want to pass at here, that is going inside the AND gate, and finally whenever the clock is enabled, it is going in the register. So suppose this is the R1, R2, R3, R4, the all register are 4-bit register. So this particular circuit, that is the first in first out buffer circuit, can send the 16-bit of data at a time. So the register can handle the 16-bit of data at a time, since we have taken here the case that every register is a 4-bit register at this place. So this is the diagram for the first in first out buffer, where we are using the one SR flip-flop, one AND gate, and the registers at there. Modes of transfer.
सर वो प्रीवियस दिखाना है डायग्राम एक बार सर। इसमें एंड गेट कहाँ पे कनेक्टेड है? ये तो नॉट गेट सर है एंड गेट के, इसमें तो 2 ही इनपुट पॉसिबल है ना।
So you are saying here that इन्वर्जन के लिए इन्वर्ट इस गेट की बात कर रहा है, नॉट गेट की ना?
हाँ हाँ सर।
तो बेसिकली whenever we want to design the 4-bit circuit here, na?
यस सर।
Okay. So what is your question?
सर इसमें एंड गेट में 2 ही इनपुट पॉसिबल है ना, ये तीसरा इनपुट कहाँ पे जा रहा है?
तीसरा इनपुट नहीं, 2 ही इनपुट दिए हैं इन्होंने। तीसरा बेसिकली नॉट गेट का यूज किया है, डिलीशन के लिए यूज किया है, ठीक है ना? तो 2 ही इनपुट, एक बार में केवल 2 ही इनपुट जाएंगे, ठीक है ना? इसको देख लेना, नॉट गेट नहीं होगा, हटा सकते हैं इसको, क्योंकि फर्स्ट इन फर्स्ट आउट बफर है ना, तो नॉट गेट नहीं होगा तो चलेगा। तो डिलीट का जो ऑप्शन दे रखा है ना, डिलीट के लिए दे रखा है। तो डिलीट के वक्त क्या है कि सिग्नल को 0 कर देगा, ये अगर 1 जा रहा है तो 0 कर देगा सीधा सीधा उठा के।
सर 0 1 तो होंगे ना इनमें, एसआर में, एक में इन्वर्टर में दोनों आउटपुट होते हैं ना सर एसआर में।
हाँ मैं वही कह रहा हूँ कि दोनों आउटपुट होते हैं, 0 भी होता है 1 भी होता है, ठीक है ना? तो एक टाइम 0 जाता है, एक टाइम 1 जाता है, लेकिन ये डिलीशन का केस बता रखा है यहाँ से। तो डिलीशन के केस में इन्वर्टेड कौन किया है इसको देखना पड़ेगा एक बार, ठीक है ना? इसको देख लीजिए, कल एक बार फिर डिस्कस कर लेंगे इस पॉइंट पर। बाय द वे डिलीशन के लिए अप्लाई किया है इन्होंने, तो अभी तक तो इंसर्शन हो रहा है, इनपुट रेडी है, ठीक है ना, इंसर्ट हो रहा है, लेकिन अगर हम डिलीट करना चाहते हैं तो आपको इन्वर्ट करना पड़ेगा। तो वो क्यों करना पड़ेगा वो एक बार देखना पड़ेगा, ठीक है? तो यहाँ तो इंसर्शन हो रहा है, तो जब हम इंसर्शन कर रहे हैं तो एक हमारे पास एसआर फ्लिप फ्लॉप है, वहां से हमारा एक इनपुट यहाँ से आ जाता है और दूसरा हम डायरेक्टली यहाँ से इनपुट दे ही रहे हैं, इंसर्ट कर ही रहे हैं, तो ऑटोमेटिकली 4-बिट रजिस्टर पर ये सेंड कर दिया जाता है। तो फर्स्ट इन फर्स्ट आउट, वहां पर जब हम फर्स्ट इन फर्स्ट आउट बफर का यूज करते हैं तो दो ही पॉसिबिलिटी वहां बन सकती हैं, या तो इंसर्ट होगा या डिलीट होगा, इसके अलावा तीसरा कोई ऑपरेशन हो नहीं सकता। तो फर्स्ट इन फर्स्ट आउट बेसिकली बफर क्यू को यूज करता है, और क्यू के केस में एक तो रियर एंड होता है, एक फ्रंट एंड होता है। तो रियर एंड है तो वहां से इंसर्शन हो सकता है, फ्रंट एंड है तो वहां से डिलीशन हो सकता है। तो प्रोबेबली यहाँ पर जो कहा कि हम या तो इंसर्ट कर सकते हैं या डिलीट कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि फर्स्ट इन फर्स्ट आउट बफर है, तो यहां से हम इंसर्ट कर सकते हैं या फिर अगर हम डिलीट भी कर सकते हैं। whenever we want to delete the value, then in that situations we have to use the not gate or we inversion operator. Okay, so here we want to say like this कि दो ऑपरेशंस यहां पर हमारे पास हो रहे हैं, या तो हम इंसर्शन कर सकते हैं या फिर हम डिलीशन कर सकते हैं। अगर हम डिलीशन करते हैं देन इन दैट सिचुएशन हमें नॉट ऑपरेटर का या इन्वर्टर ऑपरेटर का यूज करना होगा। बाद बाकी इसकी थ्योरी आपका जो मॉरिस मैन्यू है उससे एक बार देख लेना, तो उससे थोड़ा सा और आइडिया हो जाएगा आपको।
सर इसमें क्लॉक का यूज क्या है?
बेटा डाटा द ट्रांसमिशन तभी होगा जब क्लॉक होगा, तो अगर आप क्लॉक हटा देंगे तो डाटा ट्रांसमिशन होगा नहीं। तो पल्स रेट की रेफर करता है, ये पल्स को रेफर करता है कि पल्स अगर होगा तो हमारा डाटा ट्रांसमिशन होगा, पल्स नहीं होगा तो डाटा ट्रांसमिशन किसी भी हाल में नहीं हो सकता। तो क्लॉक इज बेसिकली आइडेंटिफाइंग द पल्स एट हियर। So the pulse is coming, means to say clock pulse is coming, then data is going to be transmitted from the gate to register. If the clock pulse is not coming, then data cannot be transmitted from the gate to register. तो क्लॉक एक सिंबॉलिक रिप्रेजेंटेशन है, इसके अलावा कुछ नहीं है। क्लॉक बेसिकली दिखाता है कि क्लॉक अगर एनेबल है तो डाटा ट्रांसमिशन है, क्लॉक अगर एनेबल नहीं है तो डाटा ट्रांसमिशन नहीं होगा। दैट इज सिंपली द हार्डवेयर कंपोनेंट। तो जैसे सिस्टम है तो सिस्टम में क्लॉक पल्स हमेशा चलता रहता है, आइदर आपका सिस्टम ऑफ हो या ऑन हो, तो क्लॉक पल्स हमेशा चलता रहता है। तो उसमें क्या है कि जैसे आपका सिस्टम है तो आपके सिस्टम में टाइमिंग आता है, तो टाइमिंग आता है तो सिस्टम को आप शट डाउन कर देते हैं, तब भी टाइमिंग तो चलता ही रहता है, क्योंकि जब आप दोबारा उसको जब रीस्टार्ट करते हैं सिस्टम को, देन यू सी दैट टाइम हैज बीन चेंज्ड एंड यू गेट द करंट टाइम व्हाटएवर द योर क्लॉक हैव। It means the clock pulse is running continuously. The clock is running continuously. So the clock pulse, whenever will be generated, the data can be gone for the transmission. Otherwise, the data will not be transmitted at all. So it is a symbolic representation. So whenever you will design any of the circuit in the computer architecture, then you have to think that clock have to be associated every time. If the clock is not there, then no data transmission will be there. तो 90% जितने भी ब्लॉक डायग्राम आप उठा के देखेंगे, हर जगह क्लॉक तो एसोसिएटेड आपको दिखाई देगा। नहीं है तो आप अपनी तरफ से भी जोड़ सकते हैं कि क्लॉक तो होना ही चाहिए। इज इट ओके?
हेलो सर।
हाँ
सर रजिस्टर में एक समय पे एक ही इनपुट दे सकते हैं कि मल्टीपल इनपुट दे सकते हैं सर?
फ्लिप फ्लॉप में एक समय में एक ही इनपुट दे सकते हैं, या तो 0 या 1। ठीक है ना? ये बात की बात है कि जब आप रजिस्टर की बात कर रहे हैं तो रजिस्टर आपने कितने बिट का लिया हुआ है, ठीक है ना? तो 4 बिट का लिया हुआ है, तो 4 बिट की डाटा बस उसके साथ एसोसिएट की है। तो 4 बिट की डाटा बिट अगर आपने एसोसिएट की है तो 4 बिट एक साथ रजिस्टर में क्या हो सकती हैं, ट्रांसमिट हो सकती हैं। अब वहां पर भी हम क्या कह रहे हैं कि वो सीरियल है या पैरेलल है, तो पैरेलल ट्रांसमिशन हो रहा है तो 4 की 4 बिट एक साथ ट्रांसमिट हो सकती हैं। रजिस्टर के अंदर 4 की 4 बिट एक साथ ट्रांसमिट हो सकती हैं। सीरियल है तो 1 बाई 1 ही बिट क्या हो सकती है, आपकी रजिस्टर के अंदर ट्रांसमिशन हो सकता है।
यस सर, ओके।
ठीक है ना?
ओके सर।
नेक्स्ट, modes of transfer, that is programmed control IO. So basically 3 things are there. These 3 things are important, and these 3 questions always come in your examinations, in which the direct memory access is most important one. So one is, we are saying that whenever we talk about the input output interface, the programmed control IO is there, second interrupt initiated IO is there, and third is direct memory access. So 3 different data transfer mode between the central computer, that is the CPU or memory, and peripherals are available there. These three data transfer modes are basically the programmed control IO, the interrupt initiated IO, and direct memory access. These are the three most important topic of this particular unit. The programmed control IO, that is input device to central processing unit. So you can design this block diagram. So basically the CPU is there, and CPU is associated with the interface via using the data bus, via using the address bus, as well as via using the input output read and write lines are there. So one interface unit is there, the CPU always associated with the another interface unit via using an interface. The interface, the CPU sends the generally three lines, one for data bus, one for address bus, and the input output read lines are there, and they are associated with the interface, and again the interface associated with the another input output devices via using the same data bus, address bus, input output read write bus, and this input output bus associated with the data valid bit is there, and finally the interface is there, and whenever we want to send the data accepted message is also available there. So this is the programmed control IO, that is input device to the CPU at there. So CPU we have designed, interface we have designed, and another input output device we have designed. The CPU want to communicate with the input output device. So this is the structure by which the CPU can communicate with the input output device via using the interface. Yes, बताइए. So we are saying here the CPU is there, the interface unit is there, and input output device is there. So whenever we talk about the CPU and whenever we talk about the interface having the data register as well as having the status register. So whenever we talk, the data register is associated with the data bus, and the address bus is there, that is going to be you can say the addressing register. The interface also contains some of the registers, such as the address register must be there, and input output read lines are there, that is also associated with the data register. So status register, either it is the valid or invalid. The status register bit will be valid, then in that situation CPU can transmit the data from via using the data bus to the data register, and via using the input output bus again we can send the data register data onto the input output device. So this is basically the programmed control IO. So whenever we are talking here that the block diagram has been given, read status register check flag bit. So this is the flag bit is there, that is the either 0 or either 1 is there, yani the either data valid or data invalid is there. So data valid is there, then in that situations we go on to the flag is either 0 or either 1. So whatever the flag value is, that will indicate the polling or status checking. So the status checking of the data is basically defined as the polling, and as in the polling we said the continuous CPU involvement or CPU slowed down to input output speed, simple and least hardware required. We are saying here that CPU is very much faster than that of the hardware devices or than that of the input output devices. So we are saying here in the first, basically the flag bit identify either the CPU is involved continuously, or we are saying that CPU speed has been slowed down and it have to be come onto the speed of input output, and it is very simple, and the least hardware is going to be required whenever the CPU sending the data to the input output devices. So flag bit is equals to 1, then in that situations read data register and in that situation transfer data to memory will be occur. And whenever we are transferring data to memory, then in that situation, operation completed, either completed or not completed at all. If it is completed, then we are saying we go for the continuation of the program. If not completed, means to say this operation is not completed, then in that situations, again we send the data to read status register and again check the flag bit, and this possibility will run up to while the data is not going to be transmitted from the CPU to the input output devices. So such type of block diagram basically identify the programmed control input output, or we can say that is the input device to the CPU. So this is the theory for the programmed control input output.
हेलो सर।
हाँ
सर ये डायरेक्ट मेमोरी एक्सेस जो है ये थ्रू एड्रेस एक्सेस होगा कि कैसे सर?
अभी डायरेक्ट मेमोरी एक्सेस पर पहुंचेंगे तो आप देखेंगे कि सीपीयू को बाईपास करने का जो तरीका है वो डायरेक्ट मेमोरी एक्सेस पर हमें दिखाई देता है। तो हमने कहा कि हमारे पास एक सीपीयू है, सीपीयू ऑलवेज इंस्ट्रक्शन का एग्जीक्यूशन करता है, लेकिन समटाइम्स क्योंकि एवरी टाइम सीपीयू की जो स्पीड होती है और जो इंटरफेस जो हमारे इनपुट आउटपुट डिवाइसेज है उनकी जो स्पीड होती है उसमें काफी वेरिएशन होता है, बहुत ज्यादा वेरिएशन होता है। तो सीपीयू अगर 10 to the power 9 टाइम फास्टर होता है, यानी जिस काम को 1 सेकंड में कर सकता है, उसी को हमारी जो नॉर्मल इनपुट आउटपुट डिवाइस है वो हो सकता है उसको कंप्लीट करने में 10 to the power 9 सेकंड्स का समय ले। तो इतने समय तक तो हम सीपीयू को बिजी नहीं रख सकते। तो सीपीयू बहुत ही कम समय में चीजों को हैंडल करता है और कई बार अपना जो प्रोसेसिंग वो कर रहा था उस प्रोसेसिंग को वो डायरेक्ट मेमोरी एक्सेस को ट्रांसमिट करता है, सीपीयू आइडल स्टेट में चला जाता है। तो अभी इसको हम पढ़ेंगे, जब हम डायरेक्ट मेमोरी एक्सेस को डिस्कस करेंगे तो दैट इज द अल्टरनेट वे टू सीपीयू, दिस इज द डिफरेंट मैटर at initial execution of the program the CPU is required, but whenever the CPU has started the execution the direct memory access handles all the things.
ओके सर।
आगे बढ़े।
यस सर।
Second is basically the interrupt initiated input output. So modes of transfer that interrupt initiated input output and DMA. So interrupt initiated input output polling takes valuable CPU time. So we are saying here the polling always takes the valuable time of the central processing unit. It is open communication only when some data has to be passed, and basically we are saying that whenever we pass some of the data, then in that situations the interrupt may be occurred there. You can understand it. Design a program in which you want a user input. So user input is itself a type of a interrupt in the program at there. So we are saying open communication only when some data has to be passed, that is the interrupt is there. Input output interface instead of the CPU monitors the input output device. When the interface determines that the input output device is ready for data transfer, it generates an interrupt request to the central processing unit. Upon detecting an interrupt, CPU stops momentarily the task it is doing, the branches to the service routine to process the data transfer, and then returns to the task it was performing. So this was the interrupt initiated input output. Whenever we talk about the DMA, that is the direct memory access. So we are saying in case of DMA, the large blocks of data transferred at high speed to or from high speed devices, that is the magnetic drum, that is the disk, that is the tape, etc. So this DMA can take the action by using the DMA controller, that is the direct memory access controller. The direct memory access controller basically provides the interface or provides interface that provides input-output transfer of data directly to and from the memory and the input-output devices. CPU initializes the direct memory access controller by sending a memory address and the number of words to be transferred. Actual transfer of data is done directly between the devices and the memory through DMA controller, and it can be done via freeing CPU for other tasks. So basically we want to say here, whenever we are using the DMA, then we have initially we start our program by for execution by the CPU, and later on with the help of the DMA controller, the CPU become free and CPU execute other programs, and meanwhile all the interrupt driven programming is going to be occurred by the DMA itself. So we are saying here it is basically the way by which we are freeing up the CPU for other tasks. Okay?
Yes, sir.
इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक. एंड डीएमए कंट्रोलर क्या होता है? डीएमए पे 3-4 तरह के क्वेश्चन बनते हैं, तो वो तीनों. हेलो
टीचर.
हाँ सर.
सो वी आर सेइंग, यू वांट टू आस्क एनीथिंग? यू वांट टू आस्क एनीथिंग?
No, sir.
नो सर.
ठीक. सो वी आर सेइंग कि डीएमए पर 3 से 4 तरह के क्वेश्चन बनते हैं, तो डीएमए को डिटेल में थोड़ा सा पढ़ेंगे कि व्हाट द डीएमए कंट्रोलर इज, व्हाट द ब्लॉक डायग्राम ऑफ डीएमए कंट्रोलर इज, व्हाई द रीड राइट लाइन आर बाई डायरेक्शनल इन डीएमए. ठीक है ना? हाउ इट फ्री द सीपीयू को किस तरह से फ्री करता है. तो डीएमए पर ये 3-4 तरह के क्वेश्चन हैं जो कि बनते हैं. वी विल स्टडी एंड दैट विल कम इन योर एग्जामिनेशन सिंस मल्टीपल टाइम इट हैज बीन आस्क्ड इन योर एग्जामिनेशन. ओके?
सर.
तो जनरली ये तीनों ही पोर्शन इंपॉर्टेंट है. व्हेनेवर वी टॉक अबाउट द प्रोग्राम्ड कंट्रोल आईओ, तीन चार जो स्लाइड्स आपको दिखाई देंगी, ये स्लाइड्स मोस्ट इंपोर्टेंट हैं क्योंकि एज इट इज यहाँ से आपका अप्रोक्सीमेटली 10 to 15 मार्क्स का पेपर यहीं से आता है.
Sir.
Yes.
Sir, we will have to do numericals also related to these topics.
यूनिट डीएमए में न्यूमेरिकल नहीं है बेटा. डीएमए
Sir, I am asking about scope control and handshaking related to.
वहां पर न्यूमेरिकल नहीं आते पेपर में. थ्योरी है. स्टॉप कंट्रोल एंड हैंड शेकिंग बोथ आर द पार्ट ऑफ द थ्योरी. अगेन न्यूमेरिकल वहां पर भी नहीं आता है.
Okay, okay.
So any more question? We will study the DMA in the next lecture also. So this is the DMA. You will see the DMA direct memory access is there, and we will study. Okay? अभी हम आज का यहीं स्टॉप करते हैं. तो DMA controller is there, CPU is there, random access memory is there, IO peripheral devices is there. So we will study that how CPU become free and DMA activated the execution of the program.
सर मेरी अटेंडेंस लग गई.
नाम क्या बेटा आपका?
सर सौरभ कुमार.
आपने अटेंडेंस बोली होगी.